you said you read it word for word, page for page, right?
I did. I keep up. I love Jackson.
Even though they've not been in court and they've not been found guilty, it's just an indictment at this point.
They don't see it. My first statement was, think about your family. Think about your family. Put your family first.
I never thought in a million years we would have been put in the situation that we were in. Never. Because we went through our whole career doing the right thing.
It's utterly ridiculous to me. Utterly ridiculous. Utterly ridiculous. And good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's edition of the Othor Cain Show. I'm Othor Cain. Glad to have you aboard on this Thursday evening. We've got a great show planned for you tonight. Coming up in just a little bit, we'll have an opportunity to speak with Alderman Tim Taylor out of Canton, Mississippi. He is vying to become the next mayor of Canton. We'll talk about his plans to move the city forward, his plans to deal with quality of life issues, his plans to deal with public safety, and so much more. So like and share this, invite folk from exit 119 to come into the conversation tonight. As we await Tim's arrival, I do want to take this opportunity to simply say thank you. Last night was a great show, and we appreciate everybody being here, and we appreciate all of the engagement. We appreciate your support. This gives us, your support honestly gives us an opportunity to tell better stories, to tell more stories, right? Your support gives us the opportunity to do that. You can support us by hitting up our Cash App, $ Othor Cain, OTHORCAIN. We appreciate any support that you can give. No support, no amount is too small. No support is too small. So we absolutely appreciate that. There it is on your screen there. We appreciate all of that support. And really, we appreciate the trust and appreciate the engagement as well. So listen, there was a forum as we await the arrival of Tim. There was a forum today here in Jackson. And I think people were billing it as the last forum leading up to the June election. And as most of you know, there's one Republican candidate for mayor, there's one Democrat candidate for mayor, and maybe three independents. Maybe three independents, I think. So one Democrat, one Republican, and maybe three independents. I believe that, yeah, that's it. So, well, maybe four independents. One, two, three, four independents. Okay, four independents. I think only three independent candidates showed up tonight at the forum. Earlier this evening, and there you see Kim Wade, Zach, and Rodney were at the forum earlier this evening. Our producer, Dr. J, was there, of course, on the scene. Didn't look like they had a large turnout, just based on this picture. But community engagement is important, right? When you have an opportunity to hear from candidates and I think you should take advantage of every opportunity that you are afforded to really hear from candidates, to see, what candidate really aligns with you. I think I remember seeing a flyer or something, and they put an X through Senator Horn's name, saying that he was not going to come. And honestly, as a candidate, I understand. You have to weigh if this is best for you, right? You have to weigh. Well, and of course, you look at your schedule and all those kinds of things, but you really have to weigh and take it, and you really have to weigh and sort out every opportunity that's presented to you. I remember Zach making a post indicating that John Horn assumes that he has this in the bag. I don't know that that's his train of thought or not. I have no way of knowing that. But at the same time, I do think that it is the responsibility of the candidate to determine if this event or any event, any forum in particular, is the best use of their time. Right, I think that's important, and who knows? John could have had another campaign event tonight. I don't know that. You just have to weigh it. You just have to weigh it. I will say this, being very honest and very open. This is John's race to lose at this point, right? Hey, Sean. Hey, Cynthia. Thank you for being here. It's John's race to lose at this point, and so when you're doing those kinds of things, you have to weigh all of that. So who knows why he didn't show up. I hope it was good. I hope the folk that were there got some good information at the forum. Hope they got some good information. It's countdown time now, man. It is countdown time. It's countdown time. And what's going to be telling is how many people return to the polls in June to vote. That's what's going to decide this race, right? That's what's going to decide who's going to be the next mayor of Jackson, who's going to be the next mayor of Canton, and wherever else they're having elections. I know Meridian, and I know in Gulfport, a couple of folk running in those areas, and in Clarksdale. So all across the state, for the most part, general elections are happening in June. It is simply about who returns to the polls and get their vote out, which is why I'm absolutely excited to have a conversation with Tim Taylor when he comes on, so that we could talk about it and really deal with what's happening in Canton. I think it's important that you hear from the candidates directly so that you can hear their heart and understand platform issues. So looking forward to that. Yesterday, we'll just touch on this as we await Tim's arrival. Yesterday, the news out of Jackson State University. So the news continued to unfold today. Roy says Tim Scott Taylor is in the room. Wait, I don't see Tim in the background. I don't see him. And Dr. J, you don't see him as well. We don't see Tim there, Travorce. We don't see him in the back at all, and we don't see him in the waiting room at all. At all. Carol, so you watched the forum at JSU, so maybe you have more insight. Yes, Barbara, that's exactly right. Voter turnout, has been dismal overall. You're absolutely right. It's been dismal overall. Hopefully June it will be better. Tiffany says absolutely, because it's a no precedent that we typically don't. Yeah, absolutely. It's a known precedent for real that we typically don't return too many times. It seems like every year we have an election, in Mississippi, right? Every single year we have an election in Mississippi, and I understand voter fatigue. But we got to do it. We got to get it done. And specifically, I mean, and everywhere for real, but specifically Canton, since my focus is on Canton tonight. I see Tim coming in now, but specifically since my focus is on Canton tonight, we've got to get the people out to vote, right? I got you, Tiffany. I'm with you. We've got to get the people. We've got to get them there. We've got to get them back out. We got to get them back to the polls. It is crucial. So it really is about which candidate can really energize their base and get the people to return to the polls. I do see Alderman Taylor in the waiting room now, and so we're going to pull him into the stream. We're excited to have Alderman Tim Taylor with us tonight to talk about his quest to become the next mayor of Canton. Here's what I know for sure: if anybody loves Canton, it is Tim Taylor, right? If anybody loves Canton, it's Tim Taylor. Tim has been on the scene for a while, and we've covered him for a while. So, Alderman Taylor, I'm glad to have you here, man. Good evening to you.
Okay, man. How you doing? How you doing, Mr. Cain?
Doing well. Glad to have you here, man. We really do appreciate your being able to work your schedule out to be with us tonight. And so I just want to jump right into the conversation. You're currently serving as an alderman in Canton. Tell me, just so me and all of our viewers can understand, from alderman to mayor, what was your motivation to run for mayor?
Well, Mr. Cain, you've known me for quite a long time. My first venture into politics was with the Canton Public School Board.
Right.
And, I got a taste of that, and I started loving it. But yet I saw people not getting the same due process as others. In particular, the cafeteria workers and the janitors at Canton Public School. So my fight was to go in for the little man, the people who are on the bottom. But I do know that it takes the bottom to hold up the top.
Right.
And that was my goal. My tenure didn't last long. I got a taste of it. And I said, maybe I should do something in another venue. So I threw my hat in the alderman's race back in 2019. And thus far, I've been successful.
Absolutely. I followed that, man. I really loved your passion at the school board and your dedication and your focus. And so now here. And so talk to me about taking the step to become mayor. Did you feel as if more needed to be done?
Absolutely. For the last 30 years, I know where the city has been. And I understand why we're on the bottom. But just because we're on the bottom, that means we have to get used to being there.
Absolutely.
I served as an alderman for 5.5 years. And I think my colleagues know where my heart is. And they know that I'm full of fire. And I'm full of passion. And I know that we can do better. But in order to do better, we have to put the right components in place. And I do believe with my work ethic and my faith, I think we can go further in this city.
That's incredible. So, Alderman Taylor, talk to me about some of the work that you've done as an alderman. Talk to me about your successes and maybe even some of your challenges as an alderman.
Well, the fundamental things are that everybody talks about what we don't have in Canton, but we have to utilize what we do have. We have a city that needs to be cleaned up. For 5 years, 5.5 years, I've had 20 cleanups in the city of Canton, primarily Ward 5. I give preferential treatment because it's the ward that I represent. And throughout the city, although I'm an alderman in Ward 5, I represent this complete city. Now I know, and being my age, I still remember what the experience of living in a shotgun house was. And I do know if you didn't clean up anything in the house, you cleaned up the living room. The city of Canton is a living room to everything that goes on in the city of Canton. You clean it up, you'll attract people. Other things we got to get done, we got to work on our customer service at City Hall. And not only the customer service, we've got to present ourselves as professionals. These are fundamental things. Change the image of Canton, so will the resources come, I believe. We've got to put forth the effort and try. Nothing beats failure but trying.
Absolutely. I like that analogy about Canton being a living room. You reminded me of when I was a kid, where you made sure the front room was clean, you made sure the bathroom was clean, just in case company, had to go through that. So I like that
That's right.
analogy a lot. I do want Alderman Taylor, if you would, at this point, to talk a little bit about public safety. That's been a big concern recently in the city of Canton, public safety. Based on a story that I've been following and covering, there have been an increase in the number of homicides and unsolved murders in the city. Tell me your personal position as an alderman, and then what should be the posture of the city as a whole in this space?
Number one, the people that protect and serve us I do believe we haven't done as much as we can do. That's why back in 2024, we raised the millage in the city of Canton. We see what's going on. When the Capitol Police raised their wages up to $50,000 a year, we knew we had to do something. We can't compete with that type of payroll, but we can do better than what we've been doing. So we did. We raised the millage 1 mil, and we were able to set the first responder salaries at about $42,000. That's a big increase from $30,000. Hopefully, that will increase. Now, when we look at where we are as far as income, if we can raise that sales tax revenue, right now we're at about $325,000 a month. If we can raise that significantly to around $400,000 to $500,000 a month, we'll be in a ballpark area to do more increases and become more attractive. Because the one thing we know for sure, as we look around the country and around this state, a 911 call doesn't guarantee that person who answers that call will come back home. We need to put components in place so our officers can be fiduciary, have a fiduciary responsibility in knowing that they can make a living in the event that some things go wrong. And we're not looking forward to that, but we have to put some insurances in place and make the city attractive and safe.
Very good. I have spoken with some police officers in Canton who've talked about just not having enough manpower, right? Just not having enough manpower and perhaps not enough resources going there. So it's good to hear you talk about being able to give them a raise and looking forward to providing additional resources. But what about the manpower and getting the staffing up to par at the Canton Police Department?
Well, Mr. Cain, every Monday morning for the last 4 or 5 years, I have a meeting with every director in the city of Canton. And the first two people up to bat are the chief of police and the fire chief. And we talk about things, but I tell the chief of police all the time, we've got to get creative in our recruiting process. And we got to go outside of the box. I understand that we have job fairs in the city of Canton, but we have colleges in surrounding areas, junior colleges, four-year colleges. We've got to go set up and attract these people who are majoring in things like criminal justice and hopefully offer some incentives. I think we're one of the only cities in the surrounding areas that pay our insurance completely. We pay 100% of the insurance. It's not an 80-20 deal on our behalf. We pay 100%. So those types of things need to be in our packages when we are recruiting. So we got to go outside the box. And we can't stay at home and recruit. We've got to go into other communities, other cities, and do just what the Houston police does all over the country. They go outside the box to recruit people, but you got to pay them. And that's the place we got to get to in the city of Canton.
Absolutely. And what about other surrounding areas that's close to Canton, like the Madison County Sheriff's Department and other law enforcement agencies? Are you aware of relationships with the Canton Police Department that those agencies may or may not have?
Yeah, and I know past relationships with the Madison County Sheriff's Department, I think there's some friction there. But in Tim Taylor's administration, we're going to reach out. The first week I take office, I will be in the meeting at the Madison County Board of Supervisors requesting a meeting with the Madison County Sheriff's Department. And whatever it is that we need to do to rebuild a broken relationship, we're going to have to do it. I've talked to some of the incumbents already, those people who served with me. We see the need. We hear the gunshots. We see the statistics. I get the criminal analytic reports from the police chief. And for our city to be so small and so neighborly, we got a lot of work to do. So yes, my plan, and I'm not going to wait on the first 100 days. I'm going to get started the first 5 days of the week. I know when the Board of Supervisors meet, and I will be there with a request not necessarily go into executive session, but that's probably where they're gonna want me to go. And I will be there 9 o'clock sharp on the Monday morning that they meet.
That's incredible. Listen, you brought this up, so I just want you to expound on it a little bit, because I do think that there were a whole lot of citizens with the wrong understanding about how an executive session works, right? There were people at the Alderman meeting on Tuesday. They flooded the place, and I did my level best to try to tell them that if you're not on the agenda, before Tuesday, you're not going to be able to speak. And I also tried my level best to talk about the Board of Aldermen. They followed the agenda of the executive session and voted to go into an executive session. But there were a lot of people there who had the wrong understanding of how the process worked. So can you talk about the process of an executive session?
Yeah, in any executive session matter, the agenda is put out to the public. If you're not on the agenda, that subject matter will not come up. It will not come up. Now, I know the people came to City Hall for a different outcome, but we have to stick to the rules. We are a municipality, and we have to stick to the rules. Now, I know after the meeting, there was a statement made that they hadn't informed anybody in the public about what was discussed. There's a 10-day rule. You can always request an open records report. In 10 days, you pay the fee, I think it's $10 or $15, and you'll get all of that information. But there's no information that's going to be discussed regarding an executive session meeting after we go back into a public session.
Right. And I want to help Debbie out just a little bit. So no matter how high emotions are, or how powerful the discussion could be, you have to follow the rules in terms of the way a meeting is conducted. And so if those families were not on the agenda, they were not going to be heard. And it's shame on the folk who disseminated bad information to those people to say that they would be heard that night. And so I'll just leave that alone. That's enough of that conversation. The rule is the rule, period. No matter how sensitive and no matter how temperatures flare, that's the rule, period. So let's go on. So Alderman Taylor, let's talk about the sales tax revenue in Canton. Canton needs money. How are you going to help? Do you have a plan to help build the tax revenue in Canton?
As an alderman, I know that there are different entities in the city of Canton, different board meetings that produce different things. And as an alderman for the last 5.5 years, there is no group of people.
Uh-oh, we lost him. I hope he is able to get reconnected. So, man, right in the middle of something good, right? Right in the middle of him making a good point. And so we'll talk a little bit as we await his return. And Deborah says they've not always followed that rule. I don't know that, so I can't really respond to that, Debbie. And you probably know much better than I do. So I'll take you at your word for that. But here's what I know for sure. I watched that meeting all the way through, right? I watched it, stayed plugged in. I watched them follow the agenda. I watched that, and they followed the rule. They followed every protocol. So again, I think the burden is on the person who shared the information. And just like you in your video, Debbie, you admitted that you were misled, you were misinformed. And so I think that the burden is on the person who's disseminating the information to you and to those families that gathered there that evening. All right. But that's the end of that discussion for me, because the Board of Aldermen followed the rules. Whether they have followed them in the past or not, you would know better than I, but they followed the rules that night, right? They followed the rules that night. I will tell you this, that is a very important conversation, and I am with you 100%, Debbie. You know, when families are hurting, I do think that elected officials have a responsibility of hearing them, but I think you have to hear them in the appropriate fashion, in the appropriate manner, and yeah, I think you have to do that. I do think that they deserve to be heard. They should have been heard, right? They should have been heard, but not then and not there, because that was not the time and not the place. And then the other thing about the executive session, you know, especially what I experienced the other day when I went to cover the IHL board meeting, um, you wait. You sit, you wait. They had a designated area for us to sit in, and we sat there for 2 hours until IHL reconvened. We literally sat there for 2 hours, right? And that 2 hours was such a waste of time, because in my mind, IHL already knew what they were going to do. They knew where they were going, right? They knew where they were going. They knew what was happening, and that was a wasted 2 hours. But guess what? We had to sit there. And there was nobody. Well, we complained amongst ourselves, like, oh, they know what they're doing. Come on, come on, come on, right? But we did. We sat it out, and they did the exact same thing that happened in Canton when they came out of executive session. IHL, the person that was chairing the meeting, said, "Is there a motion to adjourn?" They made sure we got back here, and they said, "Is there a motion to adjourn?" They didn't tell us anything about what happened there. So the Board of Aldermen in Canton, they followed every single rule that I can tell, right? They followed every single rule. All right, Alderman Taylor is back with us. And so before the technical difficulties, Alderman Taylor, you were right in the middle of making a point about working to increase tax revenue in Canton.
Yes, I called out 4 different entities in Madison County, which are boards. And I'm not a stranger at those boards. And I've built some relationships at those boards, especially with the Madison County Economic Development Agency. So I'm no stranger. I saw Joy Deason, the director, out there at lunch just Tuesday. So we've been talking about some things. And number one, how we're going to be inclusive of all the Fortune 500 companies that are coming to Madison County right on the threshold of the city of Canton. We're going to, and nothing will be done until the new administration takes place. So June 3rd will be the day of expectations. And going forward, we'll hit the ground running. That is the advantage that I have as being a candidate for mayor. There will be no need for on-the-job training. I'm ready to go. I'm trained up, and we're going to get it going in a very fast way.
Very good. Help me out, because I don't know the way it works in Canton. So for department heads in Jackson, right? For department heads in Jackson, the mayor appoints, right, and the city council vote to approve. Like, for example, police chief. The mayor will bring his candidate for police chief forward, and the city council votes for approval. What's the process in Canton?
Same process, and I think what has happened over the years, when I got there, everything was in place, but I'm there to evaluate everything. Department heads in the city of Canton, they answer to the will and pleasure of the board and the mayor. And of course, I can let this out. First board meeting, all directors' jobs and supervisors' jobs will be vacated. We're going to go through an evaluation process. I need to hear what the goals are, what you achieved, and where we're going to go from here. This is not to scare anybody, but it is to scare some people, because those of you who know you've been dead weight, there will be no dead weight in a Tim Taylor's administration.
I actually like the sound of that. I'm just going to read what Dr. Anderson posted. Dr. Anderson is I think the city clerk for Canton. And she says, if you're interested in this, I promise will be my final thing to say about the agenda, because the rules were followed and we don't really need any more discussion. But I'm so glad Dr. Anderson is clearing this up finally, again, if you're interested in speaking to the board during the public comment presenter portion of the agenda, you should contact Dr. Anderson for a speaker's card. You'll be allowed to speak on Mondays during the board's work session. However, if your concern is personnel related, you will be asked to come back the following Tuesday to speak with the board during executive session. And that is exactly what happened this week, right? That is exactly what happened. And I'll say it, when Representative Blackman showed up on Monday to make his presentation, he was told on Monday that he would be able to return on Tuesday for a presentation in executive session with a star witness or whoever he had with him for that. And that was the rule that was followed. That chapter is closed. Let's move on. So
Well, let me say this, Mr. Cain, before you go forward.
okay,
I've had several conversations with Attorney Blackman.
right.
And let me put emphasis on this to anybody else who may be interested. We do not discuss personnel matters in public. We're
Absolutely.
not going to do it. We've never done it. So you got to get used to the rules. We're not going to break the rules regardless of who you are. It's
Absolutely.
not going to happen.
Absolutely. And no public body discusses personnel issues in an open forum, right? No public body does that. This is not exclusive to Canton at all. So no matter the feelings how high and the attitudes how high, that's just not how it works. It's just not how it works at all. So thank you for saying that. I understand, though, Alderman Taylor, in addition to sales tax revenue, monies need to come into Canton, particularly, for street repavement. And it seems like the whole town of Canton sits in a flood zone. Let's talk a little bit about connecting with the federal government and getting monies to flow through Canton, because what people are attempting to connect you guys with is corruption.
Absolutely. In the past, you know that Canton has a history of flooding. And the one thing that touches me, this is one of the reasons I ran, because the same people are affected by the flooding all the time. And when they recover, they're going to have to go to some lending institution that's going to charge them $2,000 for a mattress. I'm hyping the numbers up, but I think you get the point.
Yes.
And the same people lose the same valuables every time or all the time. Now, what has happened, the Madison County Watershed Committee has been created. They pulled 2 aldermen from the city of Canton to serve on that board. Alderman Lafayette Wells and yours truly, Tim Taylor. And anybody who knows Tim Taylor's going to represent Canton. Now they say I talk too much, but let me tell you something, Mr. Cain. It's not talking too much when you know what you're talking about. And I'm not going to back off. There's one particular area in Canton that touches my heart. And it's on the south end of Canton, where a cesspool or lagoon once existed. And in the middle of that lies a residential area. But at the end of that, there's an old fertilizer factory. Now, you think about when that water rises and it comes out of that old cesspool and it connects with that old fertilizer factory that was there for years, and a lot of the fertilizer is probably still buried in the ground, because if you look at the grass over there, it's greener than any grass in the city of Canton. And when those 2 components meet with each other, there's no telling what's going on. I know one family down there that has lost all 5 of his family members to some form of cancer, and he has colon cancer as we speak.
Oh, wow.
It's hurtful, and it's underserved, and we got to do better. Because just because it's underserved and poor people now, it can creep up on your front door at some point. Fix it, eradicate it, and we'll be better for it. The Watershed Committee was allocated $23 to $25 million. Yeah, the money was for the city of Canton, but the Madison County Board of Supervisors managed the money. So there's a myth that we get money and we misuse it. We didn't get a dime in our hands. And once we looked at the cost of what it's going to take to eradicate flooding in the city of Canton, we know that that fee is going to be more than $23 to $25 million. So now we're meeting on a monthly basis to put a plan together for $150 million. And
Oh
we'll be
wow.
going to DC with a plan, because this is what the city of Canton has done in the past. We've always gone to DC and asked our leaders for money, but we've never taken a plan with us. That rung very deep in my ears and my heart. And I don't ever want to be in a situation where we don't have a plan again. So
Absolutely.
we're putting some things together. The engineering firm that we have, they work diligently with us. And believe me, we're going to knock on some doors and we're going to knock some things down. And we're going to get the due diligence that this city so desperately needs.
Good deal. Thank you for sharing that. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. And I know Congressman Thompson, amongst others, don't want you to show up in his office without a plan, right? I
And he doesn't
certainly
mind. He doesn't mind chastising you right where you stand.
absolutely. Absolutely. So, so Alderman Taylor, you know, let's go here. It's no secret that elections in Canton have come with controversy, right?
They do.
They've come with challenges. In fact, the runoff election is being challenged now by your opponent. Is that deterring you? Is that distracting you, or how are you handling this?
I understand her statutory rights. That I do understand. I think the race was probably one of the best races I've been involved in. I've been involved about 4. And, you know, we had the primary, and she did extremely well. But in the runoff, we came back roaring. I think the people were beginning to listen to the message. And the message is real positive change. It's dynamic, it's achievable, and we're gonna get it done. The realness is in the people. Mr. Cain, you know me.
Yes,
And
sir.
ever since you've known me, you know I've had a sight impediment.
Yes,
Therefore, I
sir.
don't drive anywhere. But it does not hold me back for working for the citizens of Canton. I'm a relentless individual, and I'm going to lead with relentlessness, resilience, and the resourcefulness that will be available to me. And yes, the reason I do what I do, because I'm rooted in my faith, and I believe in Canton, and I hope at some point they'll give me a chance and they'll believe in me. I'm very passionate
Yes.
about what I do. I love the people of Canton, and I know what this to be true. You can't lead the people if you don't love the people. And that's
Absolutely.
where I stand.
Absolutely. I got to tell you, you know, you brought up your sight impediment. I got to tell you, that's probably one of the things that I most admire about who you are. You don't let that stop you. You still serve, right? You go over and beyond to serve. A lot of us, we get a scratch or we get something wrong with us, we fold, we stop, we pull out, we complain. I have never known that to be your character, right? I have never known that to get in your way, and I think that's what I admire most about you. That I think that's what I admire most about you. Tiffany is asking, "Oh wow, so you're suggesting that the city has already received funding to address the flooding issues? You also mentioned Board of Supervisors. Are you referring to the Madison County Board of Supervisors?"
Absolutely.
So yes, Madison County, but you were also saying that they are, for lack of a better word, they manage that money, that flood zone money that comes into Canton, right? Not the Board of Aldermen in Canton.
No, not the Board of Aldermen, the Board of Supervisors. And yeah, I think that's been the biggest myth about us receiving money and not doing right with the money. We haven't touched any of that money, period.
All right, I'm glad you cleared that up. I see Mr. Chip, my buddy Chip. I saw him a week or so ago and didn't get a chance to speak to him. But Chip says Chip loves Canton too. You and Chip to be running for the same seat, y'all have a weird kind of relationship, right? Tim, Chip endorsed you, and I'm thinking you're running for the seat, Chip. Why are you endorsing Tim? Tell me a little bit about that. No, that for you, Alderman Taylor. He endorsed you. Tell me about your relationship there with Chip.
Yeah. Chip and I've known each other for quite a while now. I have a good friend that took a jab at running for mayor, Mr. Glenn Cotton, very good friend of mine. This is like a big brother to me. That's the way I got to know Chip. And, we went on a couple of debates, and he was not a person who ridiculed. He was not dirty with his tactics. And the relationship just built. He had his restaurant in Canton. We would go in and eat at his restaurant. He never gave me a free meal, though. He said he loved me, but he never gave me a free meal. But I mean, we hate that he didn't stay on the square. So since then, we've had a wonderful relationship. At a forum a few weeks ago over at Grace Episcopal Church, I spoke. Chip got up and he said a lot of very good things about me. And he almost took on the status of a prophet to some degree. I know he's not, but he said he thought I would be the Democratic primary winner. And he also thought that I would probably win this race. But, and I asked Chip the other night, you've already endorsed me. Why are you going to run against me? So we got a good chuckle out of that. So
yeah, I like it. I've known Chip for a long time too. And Chip is a great guy, radio guy, restaurant guy, and Chip loves Canton as well. Let's talk about quality of life in Canton. You talked about the ego, and practically wiping a family out. But let's talk about improving the quality of life for all residents of Canton, those that live there, work there, play there. Let's talk a little bit about that.
we see the potential. We see the surrounding areas. So therefore, if we can get our house in order, those same things will be afforded to us. So as we venture out into this county, out into the state, in the United States, there is potential with human beings. But you got to fix some things that have been broken. And I know in the city of Canton, things have been broken for a very long time. And it's going to take just that much longer to fix them and get them right. But I'm willing to take on the task. Now, a win for Tim Taylor don't mean I'm going to get things done overnight.
Right.
We got to start somewhere with a gallant effort going forward. As one old blues song put it, nothing beats failure but trying, and I'm going to be trying. Look, I've had a lot of birthdays come behind me. I've been a very blessed man. 4 young ladies that call me daddy, the greatest name in the world.
Mm.
And I have 3 other young people that call me granddad. And they have sweet voices. 2 of the girls do. And then I have a young man, the first boy in my immediate family. And his voice is a little bit deeper. But I love to hear him say granddad. That's what pushes me. A lot of the things that we achieve, I won't get to see them, Mr. Cain. But at least let's leave it better than we found.
Absolutely.
And that's my purpose, and that's my goal.
Absolutely. I've not followed the school system in Canton in a while, and I think that's where you and I first really fully connected. Tell me a little bit about Canton Public Schools and your relationship there.
I still have a relationship with schools. I'm at the school board meetings. Every member on that board, I've trusted them in some kind of way, either through appointment or through friendship. I get the opportunity to shake the superintendent's hand and enjoy a conversation with him. And that great attorney they have over there. I hope I'm okay to call her name, Attorney Lisa.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, great relationships. Everybody knows that Attorney Ross is a great attorney, and we love having her. And not only is she the school board attorney, she's homegrown. She's a Cantonian. And this gives you an idea of where we can go. If they can do it, we can do it, and we will do it. In 2008, we had a young man to come on the scene. Nobody had ever even heard of him. And his motto was, yes, we can. I'm going to modify that motto on a lower level, and I'm going to say, yes, we will. We're going to push this. We're going to work hard, and we're bound to get something out of it.
So again, and I'm glad you said that. Lisa's a good friend of mine.
Okay.
I have a whole lot of respect for Attorney Ross. But let me ask you this: Is it like Jackson again? Because this is my level of ignorance. Does the mayor appoint school board members, and the
No.
board of aldermen votes yes or no? Is that how that works?
No, our charter is different from the city of Jackson. We
Okay.
have a strong board, weak mayor. The
Okay.
mayor has veto power. The mayor can break a tie, and in other cases, the mayor is the ambassador, the influencer to go out and attract businesses. So with that, and with the experience I have as an alderman, it gives me an edge because I think some of the people who are in these roles, they already are familiar with who I am, the passion that I have, and how I will push and sell Canton.
Right. How are school board members chosen or selected in Canton?
Yeah, they have 5 members over there. 2 of the members come from the additional territory, so they're elected. The other 3 members are appointed by the Canton Board of Aldermen.
They're appointed by the Board of Aldermen.
Yeah,
I
only
remember
3 members.
listening to you on Tuesday, and you were talking about the appointments that you guys make and how you need to have a better hand on what's happening and convene meetings with your appointees, right? Talk about why that's important. So if you're appointing a school board member, talk about why the relationship between your school board members and the Board of Aldermen is important.
Yeah, since I've been on the board, the one thing I believe in is vetting people who are going to go to these positions. This way, we'll know they're just not sitting there and doing nothing. The only evaluation you can give is based on the presentations that they give. And if they're not doing that, then we're going to be left out of the loop to know what's going on. One case in particular, and I know I fussed a lot at my board members about this, the CMU board over there, we appoint every member over there. I went to a board meeting and we found out that the water capacity in the city of Canton was at 97%. No board of aldermen knew that. And I felt compelled to say to the board members over there at CMU, you all got to come to us and start telling us this stuff. Or, in my mind, we should start removing board members. Because how are you going to get business when you don't have water? That's
Right.
an essential need. And these things should be conveyed and communicated to us. And it really ticked me off. So when I got the information, I went to the mayor and told him, you got to get over here so you can hear what I'm hearing. And we can get this problem fixed. I think since then, we've gotten it fixed. Look, I'm not the boogeyman, but I care about what goes on in the city and how this city is characterized. And we've got to do better. Communication is the start and it's the key to all successes. And we got to do that.
Very good. Alderman Taylor, you talked about customer service at City Hall. Let's unpack that a little bit. What are your thoughts there?
Well, with all things, there's room for improvement in everything that we do. By not driving, I get the opportunity to walk the city quite a bit. And therefore, while I'm walking, people want to talk. You would think that, we're in Mayberry to some degree. When people see me, they want to talk, and I get the issues. So I started carrying a pen and pad to write these things down. And the biggest complaint is the way our constituents are treated when they come to City Hall. Under Tim Taylor administration, customer service will improve. And if the people that are involved can't improve, then I think they need to be seeking employment elsewhere. They really do. Attrition will take place. Customer service is going to be a goal to achieve. Professionalism will be right at the brink of that, and we're going to get it done. We're going to abide by dress code. If you're going to run a business, you got to look business oriented. So there are a lot of things we got to change, and this is the message that I'm sending. If you don't want to make the customer service better in the city of Canton, there's a term that's called attrition. and it will be executed.
Very good, very good. I absolutely like that. Speaking of running businesses, you know, small businesses, they are the heartbeat of any city, any town, any
Absolutely.
community. Small businesses, they're just a heartbeat. How do you improve that? How do you attract more businesses, particularly small businesses, to Canton?
As I indicated, we got to clean it up first. That's the fundamental start with anything. Clean it up, you attract. And when we get those components in place, cleaning up the cosmetic look of the city of Canton, taking care of our customer service, and executing our professionalism, then at some point, we'll be able to go out on I-55. There's an exit called 119 that comes into Canton. And we're going to add to it not only the city of lights, we're going to add some brighter lights in the city of lights. And with that, the city of Canton is ready to do real positive business.
Very good. And so you got a lot of goals, you got a lot of ambitions, but can you kind of narrow your focus now? What are the your top three things that you're gonna focus on immediately when you become mayor?
Number one, everybody talks about economic development, and that is a goal. But in the first 30 days, I'm going to present to the aldermen an ordinance on things that we have going on. Marijuana is going to be one of them. A comprehensive plan to fix our streets, unless we can get some in-kind services from the Madison County Board of Supervisors. So the dire needs to these things are going to take place. Our police department, we're going to push this recruitment. And I've talked to Chief Brown, and we got to go outside the box. We've got to build up our police department. At least this year, I'm hoping that we can hire at least 5 to 10 new officers, qualified officers, going forward. So every year we should see an increase. That is the goal, and it's achievable. We can get it done. We can pay the salaries. We have the insurance. We've even increased our life insurance policy on all employees from $25,000 to $75,000. But as we grow and our income grows, we'll be able to do even more.
Very good. Do you, Alderman Taylor, have confidence in your police chief?
Let me put it this way. I've had several conversations with Chief Othor Brown. We've talked about the do's and the don'ts. I love him, but I've expressed this one thing to him. I love you enough to let you go if you can't cut the mustard. He knows that, and he'll tell you that is the one thing he put emphasis on every time we talk, and that's usually a Monday morning by 7 o'clock. We grew up together. We've established a friendship. But just because you're my friend, don't mean I won't do my job. I once worked for an attorney in Jackson, and he was a relentless individual. And I think the man loved me, but he wanted the work done. And if you're not performing, there's no place in this for you. I feel the same way. Some of those practices I live with today. And that goes for everybody who works in the city of Canton. I've expressed this to the board, even as an alderman. We can't put personal relationships in place of performing for the city. And we're going to execute it, no doubt.
That's good stuff. I'm glad to hear you say that, because my philosophy is there is a big difference, Alderman Taylor, between loyalty and skill sets, right? He went out again. This was going to be a point here, man. There's a big difference between loyalty and skill sets. And far too often we are guilty of hiring loyalty and not hiring skill sets. I learned a long time ago, you can teach, right? You can teach loyalty to skill sets, but you cannot teach skill sets to loyalty. And we've got to do a better job of making sure that the folk we put in place, that they have the skill sets to get the job done, right? That they have the skill set to get the job done. So I'm absolutely ecstatic to hear Alderman Taylor say that. I can have a great relationship with you, but if you're not cutting the mustard, then we really need to evaluate how do we proceed? How do we move forward? It sounds like Alderman Taylor is the man, right? It sounds like Alderman Taylor is the man. It sounds as if he has the best interest of the city of Canton at heart, of every resident of Canton at heart. And let me say this to you: the notion that you should stay away from the polls is absolutely absurd. The notion that you should stay away from voting on June 2nd, June 3rd, whatever that Tuesday is, the notion that you should sleep in or do that is absolutely absurd. June 3rd. It is absolutely absurd. It's ridiculous. It's asinine. And no one should ever remotely posture themselves to suggest that. No matter how angry you get, how upset you get, but no one should ever posture themselves to not vote, right? Vote, vote, vote. If you want a better Canton, you must vote for a better Canton, right? If you want a better Canton, you must vote for a better Canton. Don't stay in. And the idea that anyone would promote that escapes me, right? That absolutely escapes me. So Alderman Taylor, I guess, ended up having some technical difficulties there at the end again, but we certainly do appreciate him being here. Thank you, Alderman Taylor, for laying out your voice and laying out your plans for the city of Canton. Canton is my hometown, and it is an amazing place, right? I don't think that Mississippi understands the beauty of Canton. And there he is, and we can give him an opportunity to offer some closing comments. So, Alderman Taylor, I know you're having some technical difficulties over there. I totally get it. And before you have them again, it's just right at 9 o'clock. I want to give you an opportunity to offer some closing thoughts and maybe encourage people to vote.
Yes, as all of us know, that we come this far by faith. And what's associated with that faith is the privilege to vote, according to the 15th Amendment of the United States Constitution. So therefore, as we go forward, we have the opportunity to look back. And as one book put it, my soul looks back and wonder.
Yeah.
How did we get this far? Yes, by faith. Yes, with the privileges that we have in this country, according to the constitutional republic that we're under in our road to democracy. It is important to exercise that right to vote. So therefore, going forward, I will ask on June 3rd to come out, and as the Staples singers put it, let's do it again.
Yeah.
You came out for me once, let's do it again. And we're going to get it right. If God is with me and I keep the energy and the focus that I have now, we can get ready for some real positive dynamic change. That is my oath to you. I don't make any promises, but I will make this one promise, that I'm going to work my heart out for you. Don't worry about the naysayers and what my inability or disability is. None of us get to choose what's going to affect us and what may disable us. But again, I fall on my knees at night, and as Denzel Washington once said, when I go to bed, I push my slippers under, a little bit further under the bed. So when I get out of the bed in the morning, I got to get on my knees, because I don't know what this day is going to be like. And I ask to give me understanding and give me strength. As the old lady once said in a gospel song, Lord, don't move my mountain, but give me the strength to climb. And I get it every day. I love the city. And ask, how are you going to lead, Tim? I'm going to lead with the same resilience, the resourcefulness, and my rooted faith going forth. And I'm going to work hard at turning no's into yeses. Vote Tim Taylor, June 3rd, 2025. Real positive change.
Alderman Taylor, thank you so much, brother. I really do appreciate your time. I really love your energy. I love your passion. I love your focus for the city of Canton. All the best to you, my friend, June 3rd.
Thank you so much, Mr. Othor Cain, and thank you for having me. It's been an honor.
Thank you. We'll see you again real soon. That's Alderman Tim Taylor out of Canton. He is vying to become the next mayor of the city of Canton. And there you have it, people. You know, you heard him for yourself, right? We can stop all the negative stuff and stop all of that foolishness that's happening. You heard him for yourself. You heard his heart. You heard his plea, right? Plan, absolutely. Laid it out, absolutely. You heard his passion. You heard his heart. It's up to you, right? It is up to the voters in Canton now. The power is in your hand. And I like the way he ended. Don't listen to the naysayers. In fact, you can prove the naysayers wrong. You can absolutely prove them wrong. Get out and vote. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thank you for your support tonight. Feel free to continue to support, continue to engage with us. That's our broadcast for this Thursday evening. Have a good night. And so our goal, it's Father's Day weekend. It's that Saturday, right? Our goal is to get in, have some good workshops, get a good lunch and an etiquette session at lunch, right? If we can grab hold of one young man, and if we can partner this young man with an adult male, right? We believe this day will be transformative because we believe this relationship can build and last. All it takes is one. All it takes is one. It takes absolutely just one. And so we need your support. We need your support. We need your support on recommending young men for this.